Hello, my lovely anatomist and physiologist. Michele here. We are finishing up our chapter 14 and our entire semester of anatomy and physiology part 1 with this video. So yay, well done. All right, so to finish up our last video, what we want to look at is what is described as a withdrawal reflex. So withdrawal reflex is going to be polysynaptic, meaning more than one synapse. It is going to be ipsilateral, meaning it's happening on the same side of the body. So stimulus and response, same side of the body. And probably it's an innate response and something that you can maybe override if you wanted. When we talk about withdrawal reflex, this is often you touch something hot, you touch something painful. So we get something that's potentially harmful, a harmful stimulus, and then we pull away. We pull away from that harmful stimulus. And so we're going to start here saying maybe we put our hand on attack. That's a classic. So we're going to get a pain stimulus, which is going to stimulate our nociceptor. This is, remember, our pain receptor. And this signal then is going to stimulate the first order sensory neuron. And the first order sensory neuron is the one that is making up the spinal nerve. And because we're coming from the hand, it's going to travel the anterior ramus of the spinal nerve. And because it's sensory, it's going to travel in the posterior root. And it's going to arrive at the posterior gray horn. So we're just tying together information that we have from previous discussions. And what we see here that's different from the stretch receptor is we're going to synapse here on an interneuron. And the significance of the interneuron is that it has a branch that's going to actually go up to the cerebrum for conscious level processing. But even while that's happening, we're going to get an automatic response. So the interneuron is going to synapse onto the lower motor neuron, which is going to be located, remember, in the anterior gray horn, because this is our motor neuron. Its axon is going to travel out the anterior root. And because we're going to the hand, we're going to travel through the anterior ramus. It's becoming part of the spinal nerve here. And it's going to synapse at our skeletal muscle, which is our effector. And so we're going to get muscle contraction that will pull the hand off of that painful stimulus. Now, the important part of this interneuron is that we do get some conscious awareness, but remember, we don't have to wait for the conscious processing before we react. So you've probably had this experience where you touch something painful and you pull off, and then you're like, ouch, and you take a look at your hand and you take a look at your surroundings and you take care of your injury. You make sure that you're protecting yourself from future injury. And so this would be the importance of that conscious level processing that's happening. When we talk about ipsilateral, same side, so that means that we're getting the stimulus from the left hand and we're pulling the left hand away from that painful stimulus, right? Now, things get much more complicated if we looked at a cross extensor reflex. And I'm going to let you read about this in your chapter, look up some diagrams on Google if you're interested. What I'm going to say here is that it's going to be more complicated because this is going to be contralateral, meaning cross body, but also ipsilateral too, So I think we can describe it in both ways. For instance, if you step on a thorn or a nail with your left foot, you're going to have that withdrawal reflex. You're going to have that out. Well, you're not even going to say ouch right away, right? You're going to lift your leg up. And then you're going to have that conscious level processing of paying attention to your injury and your surroundings. So that would be same side, right? So you step on something painful, you withdraw from that painful, but here's the crossed extensor part. If you were standing on your left foot and you're going to lift up your left foot, you have to make sure that your right foot is grounded, right? And so if you were mid step, that may mean that you have to bring your right leg down. If you were already standing with some weight on the right foot, maybe you have to just shift your weight so that it's more on the right foot. You need to make sure that all of your posture is balanced. So as you make that transition between feet, that you don't fall over, right? And so that's where the crossed extensor reflex becomes much more complicated, um, because we're going to be telling some muscles to contract in order to lift up the left foot. We're going to tell some muscles to contract in order to plant the right foot, right? Okay, this, y'all, is done. So again, take a look at some diagrams on the Google if you're interested. Let me know if you have questions. And remember, take care of yourselves and each other.